Hi, my beautiful and amazing people. Welcome to today's edition of Ladies with Stories with Rachel K. It's your beautiful and your beautiful person on the screen. How are you doing? Where are you viewing from? Kindly comment in the section box. Let's know where you're viewing. Thank you. How are you today? How are you? How are you? How are you? Are you excited? Because I am. Our guest is so ready for us this evening, and I can't wait for you all to join. So I'll give you time while you come in. Please let people know that we are live. Share, share, share. And if you can, and if you know people that are not on Facebook, tell them we're live on Twitter, live on YouTube, so they can connect. Okay? How are you? Doo-doo. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live, guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening right here. Comment in the section box if you can hear me, where you're viewing from, so we can greet the people in your vicinity. Well, we're airing from the beautiful city of Glasgow this evening. It's raining right here and weather good, really, really good. So, guys, comment in the section box. I'm waiting. Comment, comment, comment. Please share this video. Let people know we are live, guys. Please share. Hello, Grandma Bills. Hi. How are you this evening? How is Abuja? Good to have you online. Please kindly share and reshare. Let people know we're live and we're doing really good. Okay, we'll be back after the break. Let's go on a break while we wait for the rest of the people to come in. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. Have you told someone we're live? Ladies and Stories is live and direct. Here we are, a platform of people willing and moving to inspire and empower more women to succeed in life. That's what we do at Lord's. We inspire you and empower you to succeed. We do that through our live videos on Fridays, fortnightlies, and on our Wednesday Woman show every second Wednesday of the week, where we get to interview inspiring women around the globe, inspiring and hardworking women. So we do that every second Wednesday, and on Friday we bring people that are inspiring, bring stories that are inspiring your way. And today we actually have a very inspiring personality, the person of Jemila. We shared her biography earlier, and we'll still drop the biography somewhere in the chat for people who haven't seen that. She is a very, very, very interesting personality. And I would really love us to pay attention and listen to her story. And I hope you get inspired by her story. So let's bring her up. Let's bring her up. Come on, a round of applause as we bring our guest for this evening, Miss Jemila Dahiru. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing very good. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so we actually had an episode with Miss Jamila last year. I know some saw it and they're like, oh, is it not the same person? Yes, we had an episode with her. We tried recording it, but along the line, it was mixed up. So everything was just too much. There was
Mm.
cut and join. So everything just went, whoo. So I just said, okay, let's bring her on today so we can all have her first hand and she'll be able to answer all the questions we have. Thank you so much, Miss Jamila.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So, this is Ladies with Stories. Right here, you share your story to inspire many, many, many people. I would have, okay, most times I usually ask in between, how did this, how did that, but haven't spoken to you. I know I don't need to do that. How did it go? So, kindly go ahead and share your story with us. Let us know how you started this journey, what are some of the challenges you faced along the journey, and how you're able to achieve those little dreams and bigger dreams that you have, how you're going to achieve them. So please feel free and relax.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, even I would like us to just take it bit by bit, but as you said, I can just take the journey. So, Jamila Muhammad Tahir is the co-founder of We Care Foundation. I think we can here today. Because I do other things. So We Care Foundation started. Should I say started while I was quite young? Didn't realize that I was doing something, but then it came into being, more into being, after a research that I conducted back in the university. My first degree project was on awareness of health awareness among Almaj. So public health awareness among and findings actually motivate why we got to understand that a lot of these people who we call Almajiri are actually left out in the society in terms of health awareness when it comes to issues around their health. What do they are they supposed to know about those concerns, things that they should do to keep healthy, things that they shouldn't be doing so that they won't be unhealthy, even access to health, even common hygiene things. We realized that there are these gaps, and so it motivated me to do more. Even though I started, like I mentioned, I have started doing that while I was young, just when I was even looking at them as friends and people in our houses. So the first of all is to just sit down and draft something. We started with small Almajiri schools around our houses, and my sister, who is also a medical personnel, was part of the project. That's why I say I co-founded it, because my expertise is more of the awareness creation. She have the expertise in terms of the knowledge to tell them about those things. So we started with creating awareness around what are they supposed to do in terms of hygiene. Then we realized we don't just talk to the people as the almajiris. What about the other stakeholders? What about the government who are supposed to cater for these people? What about their parents? What about even the there are malams in the schools, because they have this cultural background, they have these beliefs and values that they are so used to, that is actually preventing them from going to access those services, from even practicing some of these healthy habits that we are actually creating awareness around. So we started also engaging other stakeholders, like I mentioned, the malams, the government people, even the hospitals, because one of the findings was also that they are not being friendly accommodated at the hospital. So even if we have access to health, free access to health for children between this age group to this age, even if they fall under that, you don't see them go to the hospitals to access those services. So this is how we started as We Care Foundation. And currently we have expanded from Kaduna. We are in Bauchi. We are also in Kano. We do this thing quarter when we are like, most times we also do that alongside what we call the healthy hygiene kit, which we give Ramadan, and then do the talks with them. Also hear their concerns, and then so that we encourage them to keep the habits that we are
Mm.
actually we are actually trying to create awareness for them.
Inculcate, yeah.
So so far so good, I would say. We are having, so the challenges, yeah, challenges are, first of all, the habits that they're used to. I mentioned their values, their cultures. People who are used to having these traditional ways of disease, some of them are not even aware of the diseases, and some of them know about the diseases as something else. So if you call something like typhoid, they will tell you this is just shawara, and you just
Mm.
take this, don't have to go to the hospital. If you ask them about washing up and then cleaning their utensils or cleaning their clothing, they tell you that it is part of the preachings by Malam, that if they want to actually progress in life, they don't have to look good. You understand?
Oh, I don't get it. How can someone tell people if you want to progress in life, you don't you shouldn't look good?
So it's trying to say that, okay, it is against our beliefs and values, and then which we know that it is actually not true. So sometimes it is also penetrating to ensure that to make them understand that these things. It's also part
Yeah.
of beliefs and values, but that it's not true. And also trying to penetrate into the malams to allow you even access to these children. Sometimes also having platforms to speak about these issues with even the stakeholders, the government, because sometimes they don't feel that these are actually individuals that they should be part of. The people, we will say, disadvantaged groups, they feel like they are just being abandoned, or someone somewhere is actually taking care of them, or they are not
Mm.
even part of their policy, etc. Until recently, when there are calls that these things is going out of hand. We are having increased number of these almajiris. We are having increased number of them being affected by most of the diseases that we have in our society. And I think that realization actually helped, that we are having governments across different states trying to push forward policies that will help tackle the issue of almajiri in our society. So then issues around probably resource mobilization to be able to implement these projects, even though you do these things in almajiris and gaya schools, but they expect that you give them something. Even the
Yeah.
malams, they would want you to appreciate them, even if it is just a little not like
Anything for the boys.
well, it is something that you have to bear in mind if you want to do this effectively. I think so far, in case maybe I left out something, then you can just let me know.
Okay, so how did you really get motivated or inspired? What really pushed you into looking towards the Almajiri side? Because really in Nigeria or in Africa as a whole, we usually see these Almajiri children like, oh, these people are beggars or less human beings. Actually, we look at them with, oh, these people are less humans than other people, or they don't really matter. So why did you pick the interest? What really motivated you to start looking at them? Do you have any long-term goals for these children? And how have you been able to transform any life around? Has anybody really changed from being the Almajiri? Because I know people usually say, okay, once a beggar, always a beggar. I don't know how true that is, because it's like more people in the north keep giving birth to so many children. So even if you get to take care of one child, it's like another one goes back to the street. So that's why they always refer to like once a beggar, always a beggar, there about something like that. So
Yeah,
let's start from what gave you the push? Why
yeah.
did you decide to look at these people? Has anyone really transformed all those years of your service and all that?
Yeah. So, what gave me the push? I mentioned earlier that I started while I was young. As a child, I know that we have almajiris in our house. I used to go to their school sometimes if I'm being asked to go to call them or something. And then I'll peep through their windows and I'll see how unkempt those places are. And then I said, as even during that time, I remember asking my mom to give me small money to buy slippers and those things, because I will see them going out walking barefooted. So that's one aspect that actually like is interesting for me. Their lives I've been wondering
Mm,
why they are, why are they, who is taking care of them, how are they feeding themselves, if they are sick do they go to the hospital. Then um back in the university, I said during my there's this call around UNDP calling about out of school children, and then you have these calls around health, the health seeking behavior of people. You understand? And then
mm,
wondered, what about these kids that are just out there without anyone actually taking care of them from that aspect? Then I started digging, asking questions around: do they even know about their health issues? Do they even know about talkless of their health,
yeah,
and then talkless of how to seek for for care? You understand? And that's how I started with my project. So the findings of my project was actually what pushed me into establishing that foundation, because one, we found out that they are not even aware of some of these critical illnesses, especially
mm,
the diseases that I asked about were just the common public diseases like malaria, typhoid, just common diseases that we have in
yeah,
society. So talk less of even reproductive illnesses, you understand, health illnesses like going to even gonorrhea, you understand. There was an incident that actually happened. One of our almaj the house actually got sick, and then later on he got better. Then because I took him to the hospital, he was able to get better. He had hepatitis B. Then there was another one in their school that actually got ill, and then he couldn't make it. He died. And then after
oh,
we realized that okay, this guy actually also had a similar is, but because he was unable to have, he couldn't get someone to help him to the hospital, you understand, on time,
mm,
probably he would have made it. So I felt there is some that we need to do something, and so I started asking questions around the small people that used to come to my house, asking them those questions again. Do you know about this disease? How do you go to the
yeah,
hospital if you're sick? And I realized that they are not actually aware of some of these diseases. Even if they do know, they know it at something else, and they don't even think that there's a need for them to go and look for care.
the
You understand?
treatment, yeah,
So, and then I started doing small things like calling them in to talk to them in the house, and then trying to see how we'll be able to push them to be. Yes, we were able to transform lives. Among them, we were able to see some of them changing the habits. So for instance, if you come to our we go to this Gaya school, we try back again. We try to ask them questions around how many times do they take their bath, they wash their clothes, how do they clean their environment. It all started small, but then you see them actually sometimes been changing their attitudes towards those things, even if it is just for the sake of, oh, you are coming, we will have to take care of ourselves. But we've realized that some of them were able to even get out of that circle of we don't want to go to the hospital. They started going, and we've realized that some of them actually would want to continue from this situation.
Mm.
Some of them were able to go to school, and through other platforms partner with, they were pushed to go to schools, and some of them even actually graduated from primary schools, got to all these what do you call, technical schools, learning those
Skills. Yeah.
yes. So we have like two, three of them that three of them, yeah, that actually we've seen them actually graduate, changing their lives pattern and being better. You understand, being able to change their narration, their perspectives around these diseases, and also trying to have to step down,
Yeah.
you understand, with within in their schools, in their elementary schools. So yeah, this is something that we have seen impact, you understand, in what we're doing. Is it enough? No, but because we need more of this, you understand.
Yeah.
And you have many of these schools, especially in the northern part of the country, you understand. So that's why to be able to measure that impact is difficult, but then you'll be able to say this is the number of programs we've done, and then this is the number of lives we're able to change.
Okay. So for laws now, we have new people that are joining. Some are actually not even people from Nigeria, and they're a bit confused. What's going on? What's Almajiri school? Who are these Almajiri we're talking about? So I don't know if you can shed more light on that aspect. And also, the Almajiri school right now, are they really doing what is expected of their curriculum, or they are actually moving aside and doing what other people think they are doing, which is begging? So is begging part of the Almajiri school method of teaching, or it is just the Malams that decide to make things that way?
Okay, thank you very much. So Almajiri schools in the northern part of the country are these informal kind of schools that we have, where people take their children to the care of malams who are supposed to be learned in Islamic teachings, you understand,
Yeah.
to um to teach them those Quranic knowledge, jurisprudence, etc. Now they are supposed to go and be under the care of Malam. Some of them are taken from faraway places to some of these Malams who are supposed to who are learned in the Islamic teachings, to step down this knowledge to them, to teach them, and then are expected to graduate at a certain time. You understand, 2 3 years,
Mm.
be able to graduate and then go back to their houses. But then along the way, this is being abused. You understand? You see people going to these places to be under the care of Malam, but not being able to be cared properly. You're supposed to go to school to pay school fees, for instance, to pay for the care under
Yeah.
the Malam. Maybe bring your foodstuffs or something, because Malam has to have the structures to be able to accommodate as many
Mm.
as possible, or the number that he'll be able to accommodate, and then be effectively teach these students. But you don't have the structures in place. Some of these malams don't even have rooms, you understand, that will accommodate the students. Some of them don't have even classrooms that will accommodate the students, but yet they are receiving, because we have the frowned at, because it is not the proper way that Islam teaches, or the proper way of traditional learning. Because
Mm.
it is under Malam, you're supposed to have classrooms, you're supposed to have periods, you're supposed to have curriculum. You understand that, okay, you're supposed to graduate within this period of time, you're supposed to go back to your family. But at the end of the day, you don't see that reflecting in the system, and that's why the perception around they are just beggars, because
Mm.
no them food in the school, they have to go out to see to search for food, you understand. They have to go and beg. Maybe they have to go to houses, they have to go to the streets, and that's where the issues around this almajiri being a beggar comes in. But in the literal meaning of almajiri, it is this person that goes to school to learn under the care of someone who is learned. It could be
Uh-huh.
Islamic teacher. It could be even just to learn Western education, maybe home learning or something. This is what we thought it should be, and this is the practice. It is successfully being done in places like Sudan. There are a lot of people that have graduated and have become sheikhs. You understand, under the
Yeah.
system. Even in Nigeria, it has been happening. Even nowadays, there are some of them that are actually graduating and being someone, being very very useful in the society. You understand?
Mm.
And you have the majority who are being neglected by the system itself and then by the parents that they send them to those schools.
Oh, I see. All right, that sounds really great and interesting to know that it is not what we think it is, that it is actually what is happening, but then something else. So, at what point do parents really, what role are parents playing in this system? Is it that they are not aware that this system that they are taking their children to is not functioning properly, or they just choose to ignore it and be like, oh, we have other children, so you can go?
Yes. Unfortunately, this whole thing is actually the problem with the parents.
Mm.
Because a lot of people will say it's poverty that is actually pushing people to take their children to school to learn under one malam without even providing for the children. Because it is not that the system of almajirichi is not allowed. It is. It is something that we have known. I mentioned that it is a practice, you understand. But then along the way, it is being actually being abused. So because
Yeah.
parents take their children to those schools without going to check for them, without providing them with the necessary resources that they require to go and learn. If I'm taking my child to a boarding school to learn Western education, I pay for school fees, I provide her with uniforms, learning materials, even the food. You understand? You pay for school fees, you pay for her upkeep, etc. But then you find out that these people will take their children to these schools. Very few of these schools, there was a study we conducted in Sokoto. Very few of these schools actually acknowledge that the parents do pay even what they refer to as
Tuition.
in something. It's just a token that they pay for the students, for the malams to write for the children on their board, reading boards. So
Mm.
other instances are where parents themselves refusing to provide for the children when they know that they are supposed to provide those cares to the malams. And then you don't see these malams even having a proper structure, in the sense that when actually accepting these students, you ensure that all that they require to enable them study under the care of the malams, under
Is
their own
there?
provided, but they don't have the structures. Very few of them. I'm not saying that the entirety of the system is being abused by all, but then very few of them are actually having those structures in place. So yes, the parents are the ones sending their children to those schools and not providing for the children. The malams are also at fault because they don't put in the structures, the right structures for that system to actually.
Okay, so we will say now that the parents are actually the root causes of this whole quagmire we're having, Abby.
Then people will say because of poverty, but you know that you're poor, you're bringing in children and you're sending them out but to other children. That's where we are putting question mark, and that's why we are blaming the parents, because a number of studies were conducted. Out of these parents that you children that you see, if you ask one out of sorry, if you ask 7 out of 10, how many are they in their houses? They will mention that they are this number from 4 upward, and most of them, even their siblings, actually go through the same almajiri schools. So
Wow.
the parents are the ones giving birth to these children and then sending them to these schools and continuing the process. You understand? So it's actually beginning from home. If you know you're sending your child to school to learn under the care of someone, you're supposed to ensure that that school you're taking your child to has the necessary structures that will be able to enable the child to study in a conducive
Mm.
and graduate and come back to you, or that you are providing the necessary resources that the child will need to study under the care of malam. So when those things are not in place, definitely there would be a problem, and that's what we are seeing, what witnessing in this part of the country as regards Almajiri.
Okay. So do parents actually carry their children to those schools personally, or they just put them in a bus and say, off you go?
So we've asked around those issues. So there are instances that some of them gather the children and then give like a guardian that takes them to the schools. So the schools will
Mm.
ensure that someone has to bring a child to them.
Oh,
They don't just
okay.
them. So yeah, can we can say that yes, the parents are the ones taking the children, either themselves or through someone they refer to as a guardian, and that person is the one in charge of them that will be going on visitation to check on the children, etc. So, and then you have different types of malams. There are malams that are stationed, and then there are malams that are migrants, you understand? So the issue is, which malam are they taking to? If it is a
Mm.
migrant, like, how do you locate your child? Because the malam that is migrant will always migrate from one place
Move.
to like,
Yeah.
move around. So how do you keep into account, you understand, the
Mm.
the study of your child? How do you go after, how do you monitor, how do you check whether the child is doing fine? You will see that they are leaving everything to the malam, because sometimes even the malams that are stationed will tell you that they have issues around those malams coming. The migrant malam will, when they come, for instance, they come to Kaduna, they will find another malam and stay with him for a while, you understand? So after leaving,
Ah.
Almajiris would not want to follow their malams, would rather stay. So sometimes they have issues around that, and I think they have been trying to see how they will tackle that as a problem.
Hmm. That sounds really interesting and educative, knowing that Almajiri people are actually human beings like us. Because most times it's like, oh, this person is just a beggar, this person is this, and then you're looking for the next 10 naira or 15 naira to give that child. And knowing that they also have parents who actually sent them there, do those parents ever go back to check on them? Do they pay visits, like visiting days or something like that?
Yes, that's what I mentioned. Some of them do visit them, but through the guardians, because it might be that okay, schools will impose, will say that
Yeah.
come and check your child, even if it is once a year. Some of them do bring foodstuffs. I'm not saying all of them are not bringing, but a lot of them are.
Mm.
Even if they give them, they don't give them enough. And sometimes you have even the malams or their fellow almajri, you understand,
Yeah.
taking from them, taking their foodstuff, etc. So yes, they say that sometimes the children, the parents do visit them, but a lot of times it is the children that used to go to their various houses after a while, like maybe during Salah or during Salah. Most times they will tell you that they are going back, or during farming seasons. Interestingly, we found out one
That's all.
if saying that they are going back to their houses until it is around this farming season that they want to go and help their parents in the farm. So when they are coming back, they will bring the produce for the malam.
Okay. Okay, so we have a question up. Ruben said, could poverty be one of the reasons parents send their children there? Could it be that the parents are poor, so they are looking for an easy
Yes,
way out?
yes, I mentioned that one of the reasons that people actually always relate this almajiri chiwet is poverty. That the parents actually cannot don't have, you understand, what it
Mm,
they can give children. They are poor. They cannot provide for them, so they'll be able to see. So in search for greener posture, or maybe just so that at least they are relieved of this responsibility. You understand?
yeah.
That's why I said it's a problem. Because if you know that an issue, you are unable to cater for your child, then why are you sending it to someone who sure
We are not even aware of.
or who is wealthy enough to take care of your child? And that's where the issue is, because they are poor. Some of them are unable to give enough for the child to go and study under
Mm,
or with enough resources required for him to study.
okay, so this sounds more like your foundation sounds more like, okay, it has to do with health and the well-being of this Almajiri. So do you people advocate for family plannings for the women, because this has to be with issues of birth control? Okay, you have to limit the number of children because the resources are not so much. So do you people advocate for birth controls among the women, and do they really take this advice kindly or harshly? How do they really respond to it?
Yeah, one of the reasons is to ask around, why are you sending these children? A lot of them will shy away from telling you that it's actually because of poverty. Some of them would refuse to say that because of the number of children that they have.
Mm,
We live among them, it's our culture, we know, it's our society, so we have to stylishly bring in these issues. And as like you rightly mentioned, we talk about family planning, not only as a child spacing, you understand,
yeah.
formula, but then also even for prevention, you understand,
Mm,
for health benefits, you understand, and other stuff, because we are creating awareness around health generally. So
yeah.
family planning, before now, yes, people shy away from discussing these issues. People feel it is alien to them, they don't even want to hear about it. Them will actually frown at it when you bring it up. And some of them feel, you understand, it is their right
Yeah.
to give birth to children, it is what they are even here for, in on this earth to do, you understand. So whether it is God that provides, it's not them, you understand. So it is not,
Mm,
you need to space, you need to manage, you understand.
yeah.
So but then I noticed, like, a change of narrative recently,
Mm,
in the past 4 or 3 years, you understand. Even
yeah.
in in our communities, grassroots communities, you see people going to these hospitals asking for family and planning, you understand,
Yeah.
method, and then they are actually doing. And so I think there is a lot of enlightenment around this issue that is actually opening up women's eyes, you understand, even
Mm,
men's eyes. So I would say, yes, it was never a subject of um that people are comfortable talking about.
yeah.
You just have to do it because you need to create awareness around it. But then there's this shift, there's this understanding that we're witnessing. I would say it's around the maybe it's economic condition that is actually pushing people to realize that we need to accept this thing. Perhaps awareness that we are
No,
witnessing.
maybe perhaps there's more knowledge now. People are
Now,
really speaking,
yeah,
and people are understanding the angle at which you're coming from, and knowing that you can actually control this thing and all that. So
yeah.
maybe more awareness and all.
Yes, more awareness and maybe a couple of other factors. But yes, it was never a good topic to actually discuss. But you have to do it because you need awareness.
Okay, so we have a question too. Numawe said, does argument or disagreement comes in between the kid's parents or malam when a child is dead?
So the incidences that I witnessed, I mentioned one, and there was
Hmm.
nothing a follow up or any argument witnessed.
Wow.
But I was the one that went to that school and was asking what really happened. What I was told was that the child's parents were called, you understand, and then
Hmm.
before they even came, the child was buried. And so the child was already, but they were they told them, because the child, I think the Almajiri had a brother in the same school, so he explained to the parents and they took it.
With faith.
So there's this incident that was narrated to me by one of the madams in Sokoto.
Hmm.
So our he did not die under the care of Malam, because he got very ill, and so the Malam had to call someone to send the child back to his family. But before they arrived home, the child died. And
Hmm.
I asked him question whether the parents actually followed up to ask what really happened. You understand? And
Yeah.
there was like that as well. So I don't know whether the two actually can be connected, because this one actually died on their way back, but then he got sick from the school. You understand?
Hmm.
So there is amazing thing happening with this Almajiri. You rarely hear this issue of death among them. You understand? I think
Hmm.
why why we are unable to know whether there are arguments around if my child died, there will be consequences. They will ask questions, Adams or
Yeah.
Matt to explain. But I think with our culture, our people are so used to accepting with good faith. You understand? Of the so much trust that they have with to the malam, sending even their children and not even going after the children to check.
Yeah.
Probably they might not ask serious questions around why did the child die. You understand? And I mentioned
Yeah.
the way of life of traditional method of healing or care,
Mm.
other stuff, and then also the thing accept as they are. So the two cases, no, there was never an argument. There was never argument between the malam and
And the
the,
parent.
yes. That is it happening? Probably. Some of them maybe, you understand, will ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting evening with you. Thank you for educating us. Because trust me, this is more like educating us about the Almajiri people, how they think, what they are supposed to be like, and what they are, and how to change the narratives, and what you guys have been doing so far. And trust me, it's amazing. It's really, really, really amazing. Well done. Let me ask
Thank
maybe a last question before somebody else will ask. Has there
you.
ever been a point where you got tired, like literally, like you are no more doing this, you are done? Like, no,
There was never a time like this. Yeah, you get
really?
it. Seriously, I've never thought of stopping. In fact, I feel bad that I don't do it frequently. You understand? I thought I should be
Mm,
awareness creation every week. If I have my ways, I can do it every week or every month. You understand?
yeah,
Um, there is a need to do this thing every now and then. We have this belief that they are fine because we see them trending. You understand? You see them
yeah,
change as they are growing up, but then you see these small ones, and then you ask around about their health. Very few of them actually are scaling up. You understand? In the
mm,
sense, see them becoming better as they are growing up.
yeah,
So the awareness creation has to come in as they are growing up. They should be able to step it down with the younger ones, the smaller ones
yeah,
that go. And you have these schools coming up, even though we have these policies coming up that we should abolish this system of learning, school
yeah.
system, education system, but we still have. So the best thing to do is to continue to create awareness, not only to the Almajiris, the school system, the malams, I mean, the parents, I mean, the government, I mean, health workers, I mean, from the perspective of
Mm.
awareness and other stuff. So there was never a time that I felt I should stop. Yeah, frustrations do come in, especially with the or to talk to children, and they insist on not letting you understand, just
Yeah.
that you have to tell me what you want to discuss with them. It has to be around, and it has to be
Mm.
with short time limit. You understand? When you know that they have all the full time, they will give you like 30 minutes to talk to them, and then sometimes even the resources that you give so that they'll be able to start practicing the hygiene thing are not being given to them. Yeah, and then you learn about it later. You got frustrated, but then you want
Mm.
to do it the right way. So it's just trying to find ways to tackle those challenges and just to move on.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Knowing that you were never and you're never going to be tired of this is a well done to you. So to wrap it up, you said you don't do this frequently. That means you do other things then. So what
Yeah.
else do you do?
Okay, so I am a teacher. So I teach at the university. I teach mass communication.
Should we
I
say you're a lecturer? Because it sounds like you're a teacher. I think you're one primary two teacher. Anyway, a lecturer, everything is a teacher. But please, we want to know
Yes,
it in that way. You're a lecturer. Okay.
yes, thank you. And so going into the awareness creation has also linked me up with a lot of work and accountability. So not only the areas of Almajiri awareness, you understand, we also do
Mm.
government. We also keep to see how we will keep government accountable to their policies, projects, implementation, and other stuff. So yes, these are some things that I do.
All right. Thank you so much, lecturer Jemila Dahiru. It was such a beautiful moment with you. Thank you for educating us. Thank you for enlightening us on what you do and how you take care of these people. It's a privilege and an honor to have you on our platform. So thank you so much. I don't think we have any other question for you. Let me check. There are no questions. This is so educative and inspiring. Well done. You're doing good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I don't think we have any question. And that brings me to the end of our discussion today. Hopefully next time we'll bring you in as a lecturer to tell us how you do things there.
Yes, sure, sure. Thank you so
Thank you so much for having us. I mean, having been on our show this evening.
much.
Thank you so
So
much. We really do
you're welcome.
appreciate.
I appreciate you for platform. God
Thank
bless you.
you. Thank you so much. So, guys, thank you so much. It's been a beautiful and good evening with all of us. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to everyone who has been viewing. Thank you to everyone who has shared. Please kindly share and keep sharing and sharing. Let people know that Ladies with Stories is live and other people will join and watch it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is me saying good night to you. See you on Wednesday on our Wednesday Woman. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, like and share our pages to people. Small, small, we they grow. And when we blow, make and finish. You know what will happen now. Anyway, so thank you guys. Thank you so much. This is me saying good night. Take care of yourself and have a lovely, lovely, lovely night rest. Bye bye.